recently, this year and last year, I got made fun of for being too skinny, and it really hurt, and people were like, but that's not a bad thing, but to me it was, and I was called anorexic, and people were telling me they could snap me in half, and people were telling me I looked bony, and I looked scary, and stuff like that, and, like, the thing is, I'm not like that, or I don't want to think I am, and it made me feel like shit, basically. So I became the opposite of anorexic, and I started eating to gain weight, and I was eating a lot, but my metabolism doesn't allow me to do that, so I wasn't gaining weight. And then I was like, oh, so I'll eat shit food. So then I started eating shitty food, and I started eating a lot of it, and that didn't work either. So I was like, oh, but I can gain muscle, and then I'll look bigger. And so I ate a lot of shit food, and I went to the gym a lot. And then it took me a while, but then I finally realized that, one, it wasn't working, and two, that I was being ridiculous, because people are just going to make fun of your weight because they are. But you know what? It took me a lot to work to where I am, and when I was younger, I got made fun of because my family would say I was overweight, and I got made fun of for the shape of my body, and I went through some really rough times, and now I'm at a point where it's hard for me to look in the mirror because I feel like I look too skinny and that I need to gain weight, and it's hard with everyone always posting these things on, like, Twitter and stuff like that, like, oh, you don't need a thigh gap to be good looking, you don't need this. And then, like, I'm reading a magazine, and they show, like, two skinny girls wearing the same dress, but one of them has more curves and one of them doesn't. And it's like, everyone likes curves better and blah, blah. Because that makes me feel like shit, because I'm that skinny girl, and I'm not trying to be. I'm not starving myself. I'm not trying to be that. And I have a thigh gap, and I don't want it. I was, like, crying because I wanted to get rid of it, And people, but why wouldn't you want that? Everyone wants that. I don't want that. Like, I've been having a lot of troubles lately with insecurities because I'm insecure about this thing that people don't seem to understand. And what I want this video to be about, like, if you're to get one thing out of it, is look at things from other people's perspectives. What you may not think is, like, a logical or rational insecurity may be someone else's insecurity. For example, one of my insecurities is that I feel like I am too skinny. Sometimes I feel like I am too skinny. I feel like I'm bony. I feel like I'm disgusting. I feel like I look like you can snap me in half. And I personally don't like the way that looks on me. It doesn't mean I don't like the way it looks on someone else. I don't like the way that looks on me, that I'm too skinny. And if I, like, sit on my friend's lap or they lay on my shoulder or something, sometimes they'll be like, oh, you're so bony. Oh, you're so skinny. I can snap you in half and stuff like that. And that really hurts me a lot, and people don't understand it. But just because someone is skinny doesn't mean they aren't insecure. And just because you think someone's gorgeous doesn't mean they think they're gorgeous. And to me, it's just like if a fat person sat on me and I said, oh, you're so heavy. It's the same thing. It's the opposite, but it's the same feeling, And what people don't understand is that everybody's insecurities are different. Completely different. And you have to look at everything from someone else's point of view. You might not think you're offending them, but you are. And I used to have the opposite problem. I used to think I was too big, and I felt like I looked disgusting, and I thought my legs were too big, and I needed to lose weight, and I hated the way I looked in shorts, and blah, 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 all that. And now I feel like I'm too skinny, and it doesn't make sense, and I know it doesn't make sense, but that's why it's an insecurity. Everybody has them. I don't care how cocky you are. I don't care if you're the most famous person in the world, if you were voted most gorgeous people magazine, I don't care. You get insecurities. Everybody does. And if they tell you they don't, they're lying. And nobody's 100% with themselves. Nobody 100% loves what they see in the mirror. What you need to understand is that what you see in the mirror isn't what everybody else sees. And that's hard, and I have to remind myself that constantly. Because I see all these things that no one else sees. And it's true. And a lot of my friends see things that I don't see. And I'm not blaming magazines, and I'm not blaming TV. I'm not blaming any of that bullshit for my insecurities. I look at, someone can be my exact double, my twin, can be standing next to me, and I'll think she looks better than me. I just look at other people, and I'm like, how come they can wear that, but when I wear it, I look retarded? That's how I feel. Like, someone can be bony skinny, like, they look like they'll be snapped in half, and I'm like, wow, I wish I looked like her. But on myself, I don't like the way it looks. Or, like, someone will be bigger than me, and I'm like, wow, I wish I looked like that. But, like, on myself, I wouldn't like the way that looked. Like, it's hard to understand, but bear with me. What you have to do is remember that everybody views things differently. And with like, all the eating disorders and stuff in America, I know people who have suffered from it, and with all that stuff, you can never be too careful what you say, because you can be triggering something, you can be making something worse. And the reason I'm saying this is because people have made me feel worse. And, you know, like, I had a teacher ask me if I was anorexic. I had another teacher ask me if I was eating. You know, my friends always say I'm bony, stuff like that. Like, you never know how someone feels. You really never do. And you have to be careful. And you have to remember that everyone has insecurities. And like I said in the beginning of the video, just because you think they're gorgeous doesn't mean they think they're gorgeous. And you have to remember that, because sometimes I don't remember it either. And it's hard to look at someone, think they're the most beautiful person, and them not think so. And it confuses you, but it happens. And just because I'm insecure about the way I look doesn't mean I think other people look gross, because that's not how it is. It's just, it's like distorted vision. It's like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, how come on me this looks disgusting? And that, personally, that's me. I don't know about everyone else. I'm not saying everybody else feels that way. But hopefully you can understand a little bit that everybody has different insecurities, and they may not make sense to you, but they make sense to the person. So please be careful with what you say, and please try to look at everyone else's point of view all the time.